This Oregon wide receiver room rocks. Absolutely rocks. So checking in on this position group post-spring, definitely a change of sorts in a good way. In absolutely a good way. So this is a position group that's got Dorian Moore, Gary Bryant Jr., this is in no order, Kyler Casper, Malik Benson, Evan Stewart, Jeremiah McClellan, Jurion Dickey, Justice Lowe, Cooper Perry, Dylan Gresham, and Jack Wrestler. Those are the scholarship guys. This is one of the best and deepest position groups that Oregon has on the team on either side of the ball. I felt really good coming into the spring game about the wide receivers. Coming out, I still feel really good. It's a good place to be. Good times. So I fully expect the first four receivers going into the spring game. I thought it would be Evan Stewart, Malik Benson, Gary Bryant Jr., and Justice Lowe, supplemented at various spots by Dorian Moore, Jeremiah McClellan, Jurion Dickey, and Kyler Casper. I think I still feel that way. I'm really not as sure. I think that Evan Stewart's a lock. Now, Malik Benson did not have a good spring game. He just he wasn't targeted a ton. He dropped a deep ball that he got open on because of offensive pass interference. I didn't have big expectations for him during spring ball. It doesn't mean he doesn't have potential. I'm not saying the spring game is going to catapult him down the depth chart. So what would be the opposite of catapult? Since catapult is like a forward, upward launch. Chasming? Is that a word? Maybe. I don't know. Cratering. I don't think he's cratering down the depth chart after one bad performance in the spring game. But I did say when he got added to Oregon that I don't have big expectations for him. He's somebody who I think, over the course of his career has had a lot of potential and for various reasons hasn't realized it. I'm not, in my head, going to rely on him to be a part of Oregon's receiver room in a big way when he, went to Alabama and he was buried in the depth chart. Went to Florida State. They didn't have a good passing offense, but, he certainly showcased some things. And, he's got high-end athleticism. He's got good size. But, if you just watched the spring game and didn't have any other information, you'd say Kyler Casper was better because Kyler Casper did look better in the spring game than Malik Benson. So I don't think that's an automatic flip on the depth chart. I do think, though, as I go back through my notes from April 26th at Autzen, I wasn't there in person, unfortunately, but I watched that game basically several times. It took me a long time to watch the game. It was just so good to watch some new football and get the first taste of the Ducks and whatnot. Dorian Moore is so legit. He looked the part as much as he could. And he was even better than his stats indicated. He finished, I think, 3 catches for 47 yards, but he had the 40-yarder working on Theron Johnson, the multi-year college football player transfer from Northwestern, who I think's a role player / depth piece maybe in the secondary. And Dorian Moore, Johnson was in good position, and Moore just made the play. Great throw from Austin Novosad, but yeah, I liked what I saw from Dorian. That was one of my big wide receiver takeaways. Is he was absolutely as I wanted him to be. No, he didn't do what Dallas Wilson did for Florida, 10 catches for 195 and 2 touchdowns. I think Oregon started doubling him a bit. I'm wondering where that was in the Rose Bowl against Jeremiah Smith, but that's a conversation for another day. But, I thought when he touched the ball, he looked good. He looked to me to be a willing blocker as well. That's a non-zero factor. No block, no rock. No block, no rock. I don't think that's an issue with Dorian Moore. He beat Peyton Woodyard a couple times and didn't get the ball, but when I say he cooked him, I mean he blew past him. His speed is exactly as it was advertised coming out of high school as a number 1 wide receiver. And then he was back there on punt return. Dude, I'd be here for it. I'd be, and we saw this last year in some sense with Ryan Pelham, who's not with the team anymore. He's still in the portal after an off-field incident. He was a true freshman last year, really fast wideout, was in there as the number 2 punt returner when Tez Johnson went out. Now, unfortunately for Pelham, he fumbled, and that's the only notable thing he did on the field for the Ducks. But I say that to make the point that Dorian Moore could be a punt returner for the Ducks this year. No Tez Johnson, that's a role that needs to be filled. I think Gary Bryant as a returner, I know he's going to catch the ball. That's always my priority number 1. Priority number 2, as we learned in the Boise State game, being able to take it to the house every now and then doesn't hurt. But I thought Dorian looked really good across the board. Dylan Gresham was, of course, the big standout in this game. 3 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. He made a contested catch. He showcased the speed. I just was really impressed. No wide receiver, including Dorian, had a better game for himself than Dylan Gresham. I think that was the first time he got introduced to a lot of Duck fans who, maybe had forgotten about him, and understandably so, with how much talent is just in that wide receiver room. But yeah, elite speed, flashed that on the touchdown in a big way. He also drew a pass interference on Dorian Brew, and Brew had, I think, 1 or 2 of those. Brew was also pushed off by Malik Benson on that OPI I mentioned earlier, but Brew's physicality is definitely something that was a part of his scouting report coming into high school, so I wasn't that surprised that a guy who's got a year of college eligibility, or just experience rather, in Gresham, was able to finagle that situation. But something else that 2 other things I noticed, and then I'll get to my overall post-spring grade. Kyler Casper's catch radius is very real, and I think he would have had more of a role last year if he hadn't gotten hurt. We were seeing it a bit early in the season, particularly down in the red zone. He made a few catches where you looked at it and went, oh, yeah, that's right, he's 6'5" and can jump. Nobody else can do that. He is the tallest wide receiver in the room for the Ducks. So that's a unique body type. If he stays healthy, I don't know that he has a big season. I imagine he has some kind of role offensively. And speaking about a guy who people have wondered for a while when he's going to have a role, Jurion Dickey, the deep ball he caught from Dante Moore, he looked healthy, didn't he? I mean, didn't have great separation, but great wide receivers don't always need that. And that was a refreshing sight to see. Like, the Moore to Moore connection has popped up in, my mentions or comments or wherever throughout the offseason far more often. And I understand that because Dorian has all the hype in the world, second highest rated Oregon recruit ever, regardless of position, second only to Kayvon Thibodeau. But Jurion Dickey was a 5-star receiver himself. Injured his first year, buried on the depth chart last year. I don't know, what more did you want to see from him in that situation? He's got a guy right in his face. Dante Moore throws it on the dot over the corner, but underneath the safety. And then Dickey with a guy blanketed on him, turns around, makes an acrobatic catch. I felt really good, really, really good about what we saw from the receiver room. I was hoping that I'd feel this way, and this is one of the groups that I'm giving a slight upgrade in, and it's slight. Before spring ball, I had them at a B+. I'm bumping them up to an A-. If Dylan Gresham is like the 6th or 7th receiver, this is a crazy talented room. Don't forget about Justice Lowe. Don't forget about Evan Stewart, who were big contributors for Oregon a season ago. The depth is crazy. There is not a single player on the roster, I don't believe, that's had a 1,000-yard season in his career. I don't know that any of them hit 1,000 this year because they might all just wind up getting the ball a bunch. So, yeah, I love the receiver room. Feel really, really good again for a 3rd straight season about what they have, the mix between young talent that's up and coming and the proven production that they do have, the experience. Like, it's all good. It's all good. So I nudged the receiver room up to an A-, which was the highest individual position group grade I gave going into the spring game. That was to the defensive line. You'll just have to keep tuning into shows to see if I make that one even higher.